Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In maths, today we'll be discussing the quadratic formula. As usual, let's start off with an idea. Let's say you're trying to find the highest point of a roller coaster with an upside down U shape. Now how will you go about that? Before we start, let's start with some basic vocabulary. The parent function is the simplest function of a function family, in this case the quadratic formula, which is y equals x squared. A quadratic function is where the inputs are squared, thus making that U shape. If the inputs weren't squared, it would just be a regular linear function. And a parabola is the U shape of a function. And last but not least, the vertex is the highest or lowest point of the function. Now let's start off with the quadratic formula, which is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Since there are many ways of writing the quadratic equation, this is known as the most basic form of writing it. Now let's break it down. The variable a determines the overall shape of the parabola, such as a vertical stretch or shrink. Variable b is similar to a, but it gives sometimes translations and makes the parabola larger or smaller, but still maintaining the same shape. And last but not least, variable c is a constant. It can be thought of as a y-intercept. Now let's conceptualize this. As you can see that there's three parabolas, and we'll take the red one as our constant, comparing that one to the other two. Now you can see in the second equation, the variable a is multiplied by 10, and what that does to the green parabola is it makes it more skinnier. Now if we look on to the third one, it multiplies the variable b by 10. What that does, it makes it more enlarged, and it changes the x and y intercepts and the vertex, and it also gives some sort of translation. But we can see that all of these share the common y-intercept, and that's because they all have the same variable c. Now we understand the equation, let's go further in depth of the quadratic formula. Well, how is an arc created? The arc is created by the squared. If we didn't have it, it would just be a regular linear equation. Now the axis of symmetry is x equals negative b over 2a. The axis of symmetry is the line in which the parabola is symmetric. And the vertex can be found by axis of symmetry and then plugging that in for x to find y in your quadratic equation. Now what this means is that the vertex will always lie on the axis of symmetry. So if you know the axis of symmetry, you can plug that in for x in your given quadratic equation to find the y value of the vertex. Now let's move on to the x-intercepts. You can find that by setting y equals to 0. And for y-intercepts, you can set x equals to 0, and you can find that c is the y-intercept. You can also find the intercepts by graphing it. Here's how it looks like by adding all the components and visualizing all the components in a quadratic parabola. I hope this video helped. Comment down below any other math videos you want me to do. Have a great day!